Hi everyone, this is Mark Hayward on the Absolute Business Mindset podcast and YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about worry and anxiety, and I'm trying to give you a viewpoint on how you can turn it on its head and maybe make a positive out of it. So hopefully you'll find it really interesting, and I'll give you some of my thoughts, ideas and comments about it. Just one thing, can you please give me any feedback on absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com? I'd love to get your feedback, really like to hear your thoughts and ideas about what I'm doing and maybe some suggestions on things that you would like to hear. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, it's Mark Hayward from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast and YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about worry and how to stop you from worrying. It's 10 ideas, 10 thoughts that I've had, which I'm going to share with you. If you do have any feedback, please give me on the Gmail account, which I mentioned earlier. Equally, if there's something that you've heard today that you equally would like some support with, please do email me. I can maybe direct you in a way to be able to help you, because I know that worrying and anxiety is a very big thing for business people, entrepreneurs, corporate employees. So please, not saying I personally will be able to help you, but hopefully I'll be able to give you some direction. Okay, number one, which is probably the best piece of advice, I think, out of all of what I'm going to tell you today. Only worry about the things that you can control. Okay, number one. The thing is, so many people worry about these things around what you can actually control. So I can control my job, I can control my podcast, I can control my YouTube channel. I can't control what you think, what you guys think of me, and one of the ways I'm trying to get a little bit of control on that is being able to get you to email me and tell me what you like and what you don't like. I think you should need to be able to, so you can't control your boss. You can't control, sometimes you can't even control subordinates that you delegate to, because they've got their own mind, they've got their own ambitions, they've only got their, and maybe they're not as ambitious as you, or maybe they're more ambitious than you. So you can't worry about the things that you can't control. So it seems very obvious, but so many people get caught up in the mindset of thinking about different permutations, especially when you think about other people doing things which you just have no control over. So definitely only worry about things you can control. Number two, give yourself a break. Like, if you're stressing about something and you're blaming yourself, which often it happens with anxiety and worry, is that you blame yourself for things that you do. Just give yourself a break. Like, don't burden yourself with everything. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying that you are in control of everything and everything is down to you. There's a couple of social media influencers and speakers out there on the circuit at the moment that are saying that. Now, although there is an element like you can control as much as you can control, but equally, if you're starting to worry or have anxiety about something, just give yourself a break. Take a night off. Find a friend, chat to, find a family member, whatever it is, just give yourself a break, have a night off, and don't stress yourself every single day, because a lot of the things can happen is burnout. When you get to the point where you're worrying every day about everything that you're doing, often burnout, if you're working very hard and very long hours as well, burnout is definitely soon to arrive. So give yourself a break. Number three, which I sort of mentioned there, you need to share with others, whether that's a coach or a therapist or a friend or a family member or a colleague, whatever it is that makes you feel better when you share with it. That's what I would suggest you do. Give yourself some time to share with people and share some of your thoughts. Now, lots of people have superficial, like blokes are the worst at just having a superficial relationship where you talk about sport and music and whatever, just and keep it at that level. I would say you need to have at least one person, if not two or three people in your life, that you can share your thoughts and your feelings about. Not something that men do very well, but I would definitely say it would be a good idea to find someone that you can share with. The reason why I say more than one is because if they can't make to meet up for a beer, or they can't make for dinner or coffee, whatever it is, you've got an option for somebody else. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I would say definitely share with others, But they've got to be trusted people, and you've got to feel confident that they are not going to use that information for negative. So so share with others, but choose those people wisely. Number 4, I've got be strong and be resilient. I think sometimes everyone needs a bit of a. You need to be stronger. Now, there's a lot of men who get into the man up stage, and although I don't necessarily believe that, I do think you need to believe that you're resilient and strong enough to be able to deal with these things. So I would say you do need to think of yourself as strong and resilient and build up ways of being more resilient in situations. So, yeah. Number 5, be aware of the progress between worry, anxiety, and what can happen is depression. I think you need to be able to know that there is a path between the 3 areas. Worry is probably the lowest level on sort of mental health scale. Then you've got anxiety, and then you've got depression. One doesn't necessarily lead to the next, but there is a path between the 3 of them. So I would say just be aware of that and make sure that you're not making bad decisions which put you into a depression or a depressive state. So it's just being aware that is possible. And some people might go, well, I've been anxious all my life, but I've never got to depression. And you may not. You may find coping mechanisms to deal with your anxiety, but equally, I've seen enough people in my life that have tripped into depression and really struggled to be able to get themselves out of that state. And they probably all started from worrying about something or other, whether it was a job, whether it was a relationship, whatever it was. So just be aware that there is a natural path between the 3, and you need to find coping mechanisms. Now, number 6, so I've put here, have regular, maybe half yearly, maybe yearly catch-ups with your GP. I just think it's not a bad thing to meet up with a health professional on a semi-regular basis. It's not like you meet them every month and whatever, but I just think sometimes it's helpful to have that outside medical view on how you're doing. So I would suggest maybe having those sorts of catch-ups and strike up a relationship with your GP. If you're not in the UK, basically it's your doctor, your local doctor, general practitioner, which is what they're called in the UK. So maybe find some time to have a regular catch-up or a half-yearly catch-up with him or her. It might be helpful for you. Number 7, you need to be aware of pain and trauma in your life. So all these things, we sort of up the ante a little bit on this point, because there could be some sort of pain, which it could be divorce, it could be depression, it could be bereavement, it could be a bad year, bad choices, bad decisions, other people's decisions that have affected you. You need to be aware of pain and trauma, because that is serious stuff. That's taken on another level. So if you've got that in your life, let's just say, for example, you recently divorced and you don't see your kids as regularly, I know that can be very, very painful. I've spoken to someone who's found that very, very painful. So I would say you've got to be aware of where pain and trauma is and get the right sort of support. That might be a therapist, that might be a counsellor, it might be someone, it might be your GP, it might be a friend. There's lots of people out there that can help you if you're facing pain and trauma. Right, number 8, have stability in your life. Now, stability for me is my family. They bring me down to when I've got to wipe a bum or pick up dog poo or whatever it is. Just having an honest conversation with my wife also brings me stability in my life. So you need to have stable people, stable actions, stable things that you do in your life that make you not be erratic, because erratic behaviour can be very negative and can cause pain and trauma for other people, but sometimes it can cause pain and trauma for you as well. So so try and create stable relationships, stable habits to get the best out of you. Number 9, don't drink too much and don't take drugs. I think the sort of way people numb themselves by drinking or taking drugs is a hard thing to be able to deal with. If you haven't got any sort of stability in your life, you sometimes might look for drink and drugs to create that numbness in your life if you're facing worry, pain, trauma, anxiety, or depression. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying don't ever drink. We all have a drink and socialize, and it's very, very usual to have a beer and talk to a friend, colleague, or whoever. So but don't drink too much. It can definitely slip you into the realms of depression because of the way that it's treated in your body. So, and it can be addictive as well as drugs as well. So just be mindful of that. That would be a good advice. And number 10, which is our last one, is meeting negative with positive. Now, this is very hard if you're in a bad way or in a bad state, but try and be positive in all endeavours of your life. It does make you feel better. It does, when you're able to twist a negative of somebody else and turn it into a positive, does actually make you feel better. So I would say definitely try and do that. It's a bit of a game changer if you try and be positive in most situations. Right, that are my 10 points. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. Please do check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon. Obviously, I've got the podcast and the YouTube channel, which you know about. Just to recap again, feedback, please send me an email on absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com. Would love to hear your thoughts, ideas, comments, and what you like or what you'd like to hear about. Happy to get your thoughts on what you'd like to hear about as well. So thank you very much, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.